Okay, hi guys. This is take 3, so hopefully this will work. So let me know. Can you hear me now? For whatever reason, the microphone's not working on the laptop with YouTube, but it does with OBS. So it looks like my headset was working with both. So let me know. And most likely people just disappeared because they don't have patience to deal with me. But I did see my good buddy Wildbeard in here, and he said he wanted to hear me talk. I have a big mouth. Ooh, Nick, Rick, Ralph, Fred, I see you guys. How you doing? Ralph, how are you? I've been thinking about you. Are you feeling better? Hey, TC Boggs, thanks. And Captain Banana, hi. Captain Banana, he should be upgrading pretty soon. How many miles do you have now? So, where is everybody today? Did everybody have a great 4th of July weekend? TJ, hi. Hey, it's been a long time. I have been training. Those of you might know I had a co-driver on my truck for 3 months and it didn't really work out. So I decided to take a week vacation, and it had been a year since I trained, so they made me take the trainer's class again. So there's a real high demand for women trainers. So they were like, well, could you go and team train? So I was like, okay, I guess so. So I have a female student right now, and she's doing fairly well. Um, but she didn't get a lot of road time when she had her permit, where at Prime, that's what we do. We send people on the road, and she didn't really get to do that. So it's kind of like, you know, starting from the basics. So it's a lot of work, and because of that, I really haven't had the time to keep up with YouTube and keep up with you guys. I have no idea whatsoever what's going on in the YouTube world. So where is everybody and how's everybody doing? Hello, Steven. Was the co-driver my boyfriend? He was. Was. Not is anymore. But, you don't really know somebody until you live with them. And unfortunately, that's one issue of being on the road is trying to meet people, connect, and, build something. So, in my experience, dating, well, it's kind of the easiest thing to do is date within your company. So, yeah, single again. If anybody got a cute rich uncle for me, I'm all for it. Uh, 2 hearing aids and I stayed home. Oh, Captain Banana is in Pittston, PA. Ooh, air conditioning's not working. That's not cool. Chilling on the Florida Georgia line. Oh, you should be chilling with the song. I love Florida Georgia line. But so I took this student and my APU decided to die, and it's been like 100 degrees the past couple days. And we got to a customer on Friday. We sat there for half the day, and then they finally told us that they didn't have enough product to load us and to come back the next morning. So we go back yesterday morning. They had us sit there the rest of the day. We finally get loaded and we go to our next stop, and it was closed, and they are closed today too. So we're not going to get to go on until like tomorrow. We'll get loaded on our second shipment, and hopefully I'll get back to Springfield. I was planning on originally going to Salt Lake City terminal to get my APU fixed, but nah. So right now we are in a hotel. I shot some videos earlier that I'll be putting up where I was out by the pool, relaxing and enjoying myself. So, hey, Trucker John and this guy Trucks. If you guys are not familiar with some of these guys in here, click on my wrenches. Those are all really cool channels to check out. I appreciate everybody coming in. Trucker John, I did try to call you and you didn't respond. So, you're in Minnesota. Ooh. I got stuck in riots in Phoenix. It wasn't fun. Like they set I-17 on fire. So I was like 50 miles north of the city, and then I had to turn back around, and I was coming out on 10, and I was just about to run out of hours because of all the traffic. I wound up at a rest area, and everything was quiet. I went to sleep, and about 3 or 4 hours later, I wake up, and all chaos was breaking out. The whole highway was like shut down. People were just coming out of their cars and using the bathrooms in the rest area. Horns were honking, gunshots were going off. It was really crazy. It was the only time that I can really say that I felt uncomfortable and unsafe sleeping in the truck. But I got a hammer for each hand. And my mother's like, "You're not going to really hit somebody with a hammer. Somebody breaks into my truck, I'm going to break their skull open with a hammer. Yes, I will." uh, Burning up in Texas. Ew. Fred's headed into Denver. I was just in Denver the other day. Chasing America, hi. How are you? I bet you're burning up down there in Georgia, huh? Fred asking it, did I run on the 4th of July? I did go pick up a load yesterday. I wound up spending the night in a hotel here. Um, if you guys have not been here, where the heck am I? I'm in Yakima, Washington. There is a place called Gear Jammers Travel Plaza. It's an AmBest, and right next door is a Best Western Plus, which it's a decent room, seriously. They give CDL holders discount, so I think it came out to $70, 78 a night. There is an Outback right in the parking lot, and several of the local restaurants give CDL holders discounts. They're all delivering to our doors too, so it's really cool. I'll definitely come back to this place. Hi, Steven. Is Prime a good company? I think so. I'm not planning on leaving. Rick, sorry for the stupid question, but for training, are the TNT miles loaded or all miles? It is all miles, and it's all miles that both the trainer and the trainee drive. So with my student right now, we have a total of like 11,800 miles, and that is loaded and empty, and it's what she and I both drove. So if you come to Prime and you go through the CDL school at Prime, it's 50,000 miles total truck miles that you need for TNT, and if you come with your CDL, it's 60,000. Trucker John, I try to be cool. I tried to call you back. Yeah, okay. He tried to call me back, people. Wasp spray works good? Yes, it does. I actually did a whole video of all the different things you can use on your truck as weapons. And people say to me, "Oh, well, you're always giggling and smiling. How the heck can you come up with these ways to be violent?" And it's like, guess what? I will poke your eyes out with a straw if I have to. I am going to protect myself, and I am absolutely positive about that. Uh, Got my tire thumper. Anyone breaking into my truck? That's right. And I don't know where Wildbeard better get his butt on here too. I miss him too. I miss all you guys. Mike, I'm so glad you're back. I really missed having your positivity. Well, I appreciate that. I do. And all the riots and the craziness, it's really driven me crazy. And you have to try to find the positivity in all this. And that's really hard right now. Um, and we have a society right now that no matter what you say, you're wrong. Unless you're like bending down to whatever narrative is being promoted, then you're wrong. And I'm sorry. Like, people get all upset about certain words and certain people and statues and phrases and things like that. And my thing is that the only person that can allow you to be upset is yourself. So if you're offended by a statue or you're offended by a word, it's your fault. It's not the statue's fault. It's your fault. It's just like, I don't know if you guys have seen, I have a couple trolls. And one of them will sit here and call me fat and say, "Oh, I've never seen somebody with with two chins before. Interesting." And I was like, "Yeah, and I've never seen anybody who thought that fat jokes were original. Interesting." And there's one guy on here that Captain Banana called me up. He was in a panic because he thought that I did something with my channel, and somebody created a troll account called Sucking Along with Kearsey, calling me a human vacuum cleaner and saying I give the best oral sex. And I'm like, yeah, okay. 90% of trucking audiences are men. Keep posting all over that I give good oral sex. You're going to make me the best, most popular channel on all of YouTube. You're not going to offend me. So, troll away, people. Just keep commenting. It'll boost my ratings. I'm fine with that. Uh, hey, TJ. You know what? I was in Oregon. I'm going to be going back to Oregon soon. I hope it will get loaded tomorrow. Not sure if I'm going to be heading to Springfield or Salt Lake City. Did I hear about California? It's a full moon tonight. The high tide was in flooding in the streets of saltwater. No, I didn't hear about that. Steven says, I started Prime in 2015. I always say Prime is a good company. Are you still here? Because I started in 2015. Trucker's Table, hi. I didn't watch your video, but I did see that somebody snipped that leash. I was really not happy about that. So I hope Ducky's okay. Yeah, I'll wind up leaving it up. Oh, I don't have a nail file. I'm more likely to use a nail gun to go after a looter. And John has somebody, a troll that's using his son's name. That's ridiculous. I don't understand. That's just like threatening. And it's just so weird that people come up with these things. My 80-year-old mother called me in a panic the other day because she got this email that basically said, I put a virus on your computer and I know you have an account at this porn website. I have a video capture of you masturbating in front of the video, in front of the laptop and the computer or whatever they worded it at, as in front of your device. And I have a video of the screen capture of the porn you were watching. So my mother calls me in a panic, and I was like, why are you even concerned about this? Number one, you didn't go on a porn site. Number two, you certainly weren't masturbating in front of it. Number three, you don't even have a computer anymore. She has a phone. And number four, because you don't have a computer, you don't have a webcam. So they weren't watching you on your webcam. You just have to, some of the scams and the whole society's going nuts. I just got to keep on laughing. Fred, no, I did not get a new truck. I have a 2020 International that has 160,000 miles on it that I got last year, but I am considering arguing for a different truck because it's had a lot of air leak problems, but I love the truck. And when you love something, you don't want to give it up. I just would really appreciate it if they could fix it. You took a break from trucking. Oh no. Well, come back and maybe we'll see each other. Because I would love to see you guys. Like, if any of you guys see me on the road, scream, yo, Kears! A few of you have, and it's kind of cool. I appreciate it. Our company drivers have the ability to get Peterbilts. Company drivers get whatever's available. Okay, yes, I know somebody who's got brand new Peterbilts. At the moment, they have brand new Peterbilts in, and they are giving them out to company driver teams. Honestly, though, if you've never driven before, then you don't even know what you like. You can't sit here and tell me I want a Peterbilt. That's a guy thing. Stop watching Smokey and the Bandit and Convoy and Breaker Breaker or whatever freaking movie got you excited about it. Because I personally hated the Peterbilt. I hated it. I drove it in training and I hated it. And I really liked the Cascadia because I got used to it. That was what I drove for a long time. And when I got my International, I was like, wow. It's like driving a Mercedes versus like a Pinto. No lie. I'm 6'5" and fat, so if I trained with Prime, would the top bunk hold me? Um, yes, the top bunk will hold you. And yes, I did have a student on my truck that was 6'3" and about 350 pounds. So, yes. And he didn't like crash down on me. If I ever find out who this troll, we're gonna have a come to Jesus meeting. Well, don't let people upset you. Hey Matt, cat drug you in. Woohoo! Well, it wasn't Goofball because he's gone. Hi Tina, how you doing? Michelle and I were lucky to have home time in Texas. We hope you're doing well. How's the training going? Training's going pretty well. Um, I'm glad to see that you guys are doing good. I didn't get a picture of the two of us together, so I should have done that. Um, and part of me not being on recently is just that I really want to give my student most of my attention. I don't understand how some of these people are like hanging out the window and filming their as they're backing up and stuff like that. I think my student needs my attention. What do I love about the International? More space, better fuelage. First off, the ride. The ride itself, it's a lot smoother, especially when teaming. I sleep a lot better when somebody's driving. I also have a really good mattress that I bought that has nothing to do with the International, but I think the two things combined really allow for a better, smoother ride. Um, it does have more space. What I don't like is it doesn't have the storage space because they did this weird thing under the bunk. So I don't have under the bunk space like the Freightliner does, but there is storage space hanging underneath the top bunk at both ends. There's like cargo nets. It just feels a lot roomier. Even the top bunk seems to have more room. The top bunk's bed is wider, and because of that, it's a different mattress than what Prime puts in the Freightliner. So the top bunk mattress in the Freightliner is actually thicker. But I don't feel the wind. That was something I had to get used to because in my truck, I don't feel wind until about 30, 35 miles per hour. And it's like when you're empty and you're driving, all of a sudden you're like, woo! There goes my trailer. You didn't even realize it was, nighttime. You can't see flags and trees and stuff. I was talking with an African American, and she's really from Africa and still has relatives there. She's really mad about all this destruction. Yes, I know quite a few people. Uh, I have a really good black female friend who was, let's just say, she felt like it was ingrained in her. She was raised to believe that guys in the South, white men, Southern guys, would be the ones that would be like critical of her coming out here. And people say things like, oh, beware of Alabama or Mississippi, you're going to get shot because you're black, things like that. And she's told me that she was surprised to find out when she came out here, it was the white older Southern gentlemen were the ones to get out and help her when she was backing up, and that black women or black men just kind of just ignored her and didn't help her. Now I know people are going to come after me for saying that, but that was her experience, and that's all I can say. Um, yeah, Freightliners. I had I had two different Freightliners that I loved. And then when I got the International, I was like, I don't want to go back. And now at Prime as a company driver, once you get your million miles, you are allowed to order your own truck. So I'm hoping that when I was actually hoping that this truck would last until then. It might, who knows. Don't hit a bump. That's right. Don't hit a bump in a Freightliner because everything's going to go flying. Nadia, yeah. Boo is Boo went boom. He got boomed right off the truck. That's mean to say, but it just didn't work out. We gave it 3 months, and It just didn't work out. I would have liked it. For the most part, he was a good teammate, but there were just things about our relationship that just wasn't working. And, you know, uh, Boggs, yes, we have team training. So I am a team trainer. I am not a CDL instructor. So when I get somebody, I pretty much start them off driving solo basically for like a week to 3 weeks, depending on how much experience they need, how much they need to improve and progress. And then we start a teaming situation. Um, at Prime, it's 50,000 miles or 60,000 miles, depending on uh, what status you come in when you hear. Hey Hans, how you doing? There's somebody else that hasn't called me in a while. Hello. Hey, Taroni says I'm in Springfield now and I test Tuesday. I will get it the first time. I love the Prime CDL program. That is totally awesome. Fingers crossed. Woohoo. We're all rooting for you. And you know what? If you don't get it the first time, don't put that kind of pressure on you. It's nice to get it, but that doesn't mean you have to. I didn't pass the first time. I failed my backing the first time. I failed the driving portion twice. I was in a manual and I stalled, impeded traffic twice. It's 5 years later. Nobody gives a damn. Prime's not holding against me. Yes, we have slow trucks. Yes. So what? And you know what happens when you're in a slow truck? Everybody purposely gets away from you. So like it just clears the whole place. Hey Charles, how you doing? I've been team training, so I really haven't had time to film or anything, but I did take some time today to film, so I'm going to try to spread some videos out over the next couple weeks, and then I'm going to go home in a few weeks, and hopefully I'll make a bunch of videos then. Steven, any truck going 80 miles per hour hauling 80,000 pounds is just not safe. That is absolutely true. How far am I from my million miles? To be honest with you, I don't know. I think I'm 200,000 miles away, but I'll have to go look. Maybe 300,000 miles away. Either way, I was hoping that this truck was going to last, but I don't think it will. Do the miles from my trainees count towards my million miles? No, they don't. They also don't count towards my vacation time. But my miles that I drive count towards their training. So, you know, I don't think that's fair. Wife rides with me now. She looks at every green Prime truck. Well, if she sees me, make sure she waves and blows the horn so I can like say hi and scream out the window. Any big cat engine equipped trucks in Prime fleet? Not that I know of. Let me see. Not that I know of. Well, I mean that I guess that's not necessarily true because Prime's fleet would contain owner ops too, and who knows what the heck they have in theirs. So, and when it comes to trainers and what you test in, if your trainer has a specific truck, then that's what you're going to test in. So, owner ops can basically have whatever they want as long as it lies within Prime's like requirements, basically. So we got 29 people in here and 4 likes. Can you guys go hit the thumbs up, please? Just even to say, yeah, I missed you. If she blows the horn, we'll be impeding big time. Oh, come on. She can scream out the window at me, throw something at me. You'll probably be going faster than me, so she could easily throw something at me. What color is your truck? Now I'm going to have to be looking. But have any of you guys driven through like those riot cities and stuff? Oh, I know what I got to tell you. By the way, this is something that's really, really cool. I did a video where I donated my $1,200 stimulus to Meals on Wheels, and if you see up above on this screen, um, it says that I'm still donating. I'm donating all the proceeds till the end of the year. Um, that is from the ad revenue and the super chats and all that good stuff. So last month we wound up raising $114. I was able to donate to Meals on Wheels, which because of COVID, they wound up with a 90% increase of requests. So you guys really just even watching the videos, you don't even have to donate money. People that are out here using my driver code as referrals, I'm going to donate that money too. So that's like $600. As long as you stay 6 months, I can donate that $600 to Meals on Wheels. So I'm really excited about that. And I really don't try to push recruiting on this channel because I want everybody to be happy. I want you to find the company that's going to work for you. Have I ever had someone pass you, then pull in front of you and press their brakes? Yes, but I expect everybody to cut me off, so I'm usually slowing way down more than I already am, and that just ticks them off. I'm slow. Rail govern at 65. Yes, rail govern at 65. Hey, Captain Banana! Here's the Meals on Wheels. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm actually absolutely super chats are getting donated. That's like so wonderful. I appreciate that. um, Mainly curious about. Oh, I'm governed slow at Red. We ran into Minneapolis. So, Charles, how was Minneapolis? I mean, like, did you feel like you were in danger or anything? Were you able to bypass it before you got involved with that stuff? Matt says, mainly curious about company drivers. Is it possible to get a truck with 18-speed fully manual transmission? No. Not as a company driver. They only have automatics. No. You're only going to get a 12-speed automatic. The 2017 Internationals had Allison transmissions. They were 10 speeds, and they're not even here in the fleet anymore. They actually sucked. So, no. Mike says, I'm in school. Wait, I just lost that. I'm in school and get my Class A. So I would be in TNT if I have my CDL. Yes. Just because you get your CDL does not mean you are a trucker. There is so much you need to learn before you go and get your own truck. So most companies are going to have you on the road with a trainer anywhere from 2 weeks to a couple months. In Prime, you would wind up coming in and having to do 60,000 truck miles. That's a team situation. That's what TNT is at Prime. We call it TNT. Other companies just call it team training. But like I have a student right now that we've done almost 12,000 miles together. And so she needs a total of 50,000. Danny, I just turned you on. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Hi, Danny. Thank you. I actually am doing really good. I was hanging out by the pool today, and I'm at this nice hotel. There's an Outback down right in the parking lot, so I'm planning on having a nice steak dinner tonight. It'd be really nice if I could find a guy, but you know, some of them people out in the parking lot, they didn't even shower, so no. But any of you guys got some friend for me, hook me up. I'm always gonna be looking for a nice guy until I find the right one. Hans, going 62 is insane. No, it isn't, because if you think of all the places that, first off, if you have a heavy load, I was just driving through Wyoming and Vale and everything. You're not going more than 25 miles per hour up and down those hills. Seriously. And between the construction and the speed limits in a lot of cities like Chicago and Tennessee and, going through North Carolina with the roundy curvy things, you're only going 50 then. So the majority of the places are under construction. You're not going 70 miles per hour. And Captain Megana, again, I really appreciate the money for the super chats. You know, I really think that it's important for us to make sure that we take care of the people that took care of us. Grandparents and parents, they're important. Woohoo! Danny slapped the thumbs up button. Hans, yes, I go 58 on the pedal and 62 on the cruise, but a lot of companies are 65 anyway. So really 3 miles per hour doesn't really make that much of a difference, seriously. I would love 75. Do I know JJ Trucker in person? No. Have I watched his videos? Yes. Hey girl, Helen says hi. Hi! I appreciate you saving me from going to CR England. Oh, that sounds terrible, but yes, Captain Banana is actually from my area of New Jersey, and somewhere along the line we wound up chatting, and he was planning on going to CR England, and I'm not saying that CR England's not good for some people, but I just don't think it was going to be good for him. And then he came to Prime, and he's been doing really well. So, um, yes, Boggs, blooming onion, exactly. I wish somebody was here. I would love to go sit down and have dinner with somebody or just, you know, chat. I miss I that was something I do like about going into the terminal at Prime because I know so many people that I'm always running into people that I know, and it's just really cool. Michelle Lopez asks, has anyone had to drive through a protest and or riot? Um, I wound up, I was talking about this earlier before you popped in. I did wind up um, uh, being involved in Phoenix. They shut down the highway. I had to come back. I wound up going I-10. I shut down a rest area, and all kinds of craziness was going on on I-10, and gunshots and people screaming and yelling, and it was scary. But it is what it is, and I'm still here. Rail card says I'm still laid up. Well, you better take care of yourself. I've been meaning to call you guys, but I've been driving nights and trying to sleep most of the day. I've been craving steak for a while, but I'm in Arkansas. Are we be eating steak? Well, guess what, Danny? I'm gonna take you up on that steak. You owe me a steak. How about that? Uh-oh, John says, guess what went dead on me? Uh-oh. Naughty. Is it hard finding a good guy? I thought being a female trucker would put you in a good position to meet plenty. Well, I do meet plenty, but that doesn't mean that you have time to see each other either, you know? Oh, Hans, thank you so much. Mwah. Thanks for the super chat. So now we're up to $40. That's pretty cool. As again, all the money's getting donated to Meals on Wheels, so that's pretty good. Um, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. It is a lot easier for a woman to meet a guy out here on the road. And I put that in one of my videos where this guy, he was in training at CRST and he hated his trainer. And he said to me, he's like, I really have a serious question for you. I'm like, what? He goes, how do you get laid on the road? And I was like, well, how do I get laid or how do you get laid? Because that's two different things. Like me, hello. I've had these since I was 10. I could just take my shirt off and walk in the middle of the parking lot. I could go get, doesn't matter if they think I'm fat or short or ugly or whatever. There's going to be some guys out there. It's a lot harder for a man. And something else that I realized is, and I know I'm going to offend some people with this, but too bad, sorry. Get some thicker skin. I found that Southern guys don't realize how old I am. And I think it's because a lot of Southern women, and mainly they're probably in the sun more, but a lot of them smoke and it causes wrinkles earlier. And I don't have that because I don't smoke and I don't go out in the sun because I'm so freaking white that you would lose me in the sheets. I'm so white. So, you know, um, but I'll meet somebody eventually. We'll see. Matt, Washington State says 60 or less. If you want to go faster, good luck on finding a place in Washington where you're allowed to go faster. Even fire engines always obey. Ew. Well, hopefully nobody's in a fire. Hmm. Governed at 65, but I cruise at 60 for miles per gallon, kill an extra big paycheck per month. That is true. Um, uh, as a company driver, I do get a fuel bonus, and when I had my last co-driver, he drove between 55 and 58, so we were at the top of our fleet every single week. And out of like 5,000 reefer trucks, we were always like in the top 100. And it allowed my fuel bonus to be anywhere from 5 to 8 cents a mile. It was crazy. Hensley's two trucks. Where do you people come up with this stuff? Would I consider joining the fleet? You guys are so nuts. But at least that's like a nice one. That's not some disgusting troll account. Are restaurants open there? Half of California is shut down for COVID. Throughout the country, restaurants are opening little by little. So right now, the Outback that's across the street, they're only allowing takeout and delivery. But I've been to places that allow you to dine in. It's just every other one. So we were like, I want to say 12 miles away somewhere. Crap. It was a really good truck stop, and I made a note of it, so I'll probably make a video for that. But it was really a nice truck stop with lots of places. And they were open and they were really nice. And I felt bad for them. I was leaving like $20 tips because those poor waiters and waitresses, they're not making any money. And if I'm out here and I have the ability to try to help people, then I'm going to do it. You know. Kevlar saves lives. Yes, absolutely, says Danny. That's right. I never go 60 in Washington State. Get a lot, lizard? I hope you meant the guy. He asked me how to get laid, and I told him to go get a sex change. Get some implants and a sex change, and you're good to go. Please, guys, hit that like because now I see there's 30 people in here, and the likes will help me. Please. I appreciate it. Don't make me tell you what Prime stands for. No. Uh-oh, Captain Banana is going after Hans. I'll see you that slow truck and raise it by $5. You guys are so funny. My dad smokes. He is 68 and looks like he's 80. He drove a truck for 17 years. Well, you don't know if it was the truck that made him old or the smoking. Yeah. Pelosi House of Tofu. Dane swore I was married? Why? I never said I was married. I would get married again. I was married in the past. I've been divorced for a long time. Matt says we're both really white. I find it actually cooler to wear a long sleeve shirt and soak myself under a garden hose. Probably. Some guys look older because of bad marriages. Oh my God. See, I would have been like the perfect military wife, though, or the perfect trucker wife, because I'd be like, love you, miss you, can't wait to see you. Okay, we're together for 2 weeks, you're home. All right, lovey dovey, everything's wonderful. And then by the end of the 2 weeks, like, all right, you're annoying me. Get back on the road and make some money. So, I think I would have been great. Um, are you planning to retire from Prime when you stop driving? Yeah, that's my plan because I don't think there's any place else better for me. Um, my intention is probably stay out here a few more years and then move to Springfield and I can go in-house. as a woman trainer, they're always looking for women trainers. So even if I wanted to get the local um, yard trainer job, it would be easy for me. But going into dispatch or anything like that, it's available. So there's no reason not to. It really, people don't understand because we're such a large company that people say, "Oh, you don't know what it's like. You know, it's not family," but to me it is. And that's true just by the people that I've met on this channel that are actually prime drivers that we just mesh. It's fun. Wildbeard says I'm married to him. Well, he is the hottest young trucker guy on YouTube with that cool looking beard. Love you too, sweetie. Biggest pet peeve is super truckers speeding in work zones or tailgating four wheelers. Yes, I absolutely love that. Hensley's Two Trucks says Jane wants to marry you. Golden opportunity. I don't understand this. Do you know what? I have somebody that does keep telling me that James is like, crazy about me and loves me and all this. I don't know where this comes from. Like, he and I have talked on the phone. We're cool with each other. When I first started the channel, he really did promote me and help me build. So I appreciate him. He's never said or done anything that was nasty to me. So I'm cool with, we're cool. But it's really weird that I've even gotten emails from people telling me that I need to go hook up with Hensley. uh, but if you guys are new to the channel or you don't know some of these wrenches that are in here, click on some of these channels because they're really good. Anybody that has a channel, I put wrenches on. Is Pelosi ever serious? Apparently, only when she says we have to pass the bill in order to know what's in it. She was serious then. Oh my gosh, here Hans is giving more money. You guys are on like this bidding war. It's great. I love it. Ah, Sean, how you doing? Say hi to Jenny for me. 3 rings, engagement ring, wedding ring, then suffering. That is mean. That's not true with me. I mean, seriously. There was a guy, one of my viewers, James Guest, he asked me if I could do a video where I'm acting like a real bitch because he's like, I really need you to just be mean one time. I'm like, oh, okay, well, say something mean to me. Marriage is overrated. You know what? Bah humbug. You sound, you know, I I think that marriage with the right person could be great. You're best friends and it all works out and you could be open and honest with each other and not judge each other. Um, Unfortunately, I think because I'm just so blunt, it takes a special person to deal with me. Captain Banana, oh geez, $15. You're gonna go broke on your salary. Oh, that is so funny. EB says you should join us in Walmart. I came here straight from Prime. Best move I ever made. More money with more home time. Um, well, guess what? I'm glad that that works for you. That's great. I'm so happy when people say that. But I think that everybody has a different position, different company, and a different division that's going to work for them. And I did a video where I added up the expenses that I'm saving by being on the road rather than being local. And because I have everything paid off and the money that I make, I actually have more cash flow right now than if I was local. So there's no point. Hensley is the baddest trucker. He'll expose anyone. Kearsey's a hottie, but not my type. Wow, I don't know how I should take that. And then Han says, be right back, shower time. Please don't be thinking about somebody who's not your type while you're in the shower. Are you able to spit like a southerner? I don't know. That's not exactly something that I would try. Although my sister, Rhonda, who was a motorcycle gang member, she wanted me to do something. She wanted me to do the Cabbage Patch with her. Does anybody know what that is? It's coleslaw wrestling. She wanted us to tag team in coleslaw wrestling. I don't know. Is that a southern thing? Because she was always down south when she did it. Maybe it's just a biker crazy thing. I don't know. I love being married. Pam is freaking amazing and my absolute best friend. Oh, that is so sweet. Why is divorce expensive? Because it's worth it. Says the married guy. That's really mean. You better hope your wife doesn't see this. Jen, hello. Yes, I miss everybody too. If you didn't catch earlier, then yes, I am training again. So I'm trying to make some videos and upload them tonight. I wanted to catch everybody live. Just, I miss everybody. So what's been up with you, Jen? Tell me. I'm sharp compared to some people. I can tolerate you longer. Well, that's good. Yo, Mark, how are you? I haven't been on the forum in a while just because life's been nuts. And it was my birthday this week. I decided I'm going to be 31 again. 32 just sounds so scary. And my real number sounds even scarier. Coleslaw wrestling. Yes, coleslaw wrestling. And my sister's like, she was like, yeah, well, you go beat up the girls and I'll just strut around in the bikini because she's like really hot and built and looks like Angelina Jolie and she's gorgeous. And unfortunately, she's dead now. But um, biscuit wrestling rolling the dough. Oh, you're done with TNT. Woohoo! uh, well, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Um, I mean, I was on the road. I had my trainee. I did stop for some ice cream. Mm, you know, I unfortunately I did gain weight because for a little while there I was down like almost 50 pounds and I gained some weight back. I think Tima makes me fatter because we don't have as much time to stop for me to go walk around. So Tina says, "Yep, marry your best friend, otherwise it's not worth it." This is true. Absolutely. Um, I was thinking, and I think my best friend is just, I don't know, he's a great guy and I love him, but I don't think he's there yet in his head. My mother and father were married 56 years and passed away 5 months apart. That's really sad. I know people that have done that. I was at a funeral one time where the wife had died and they had been together for 50 years and the husband had a heart attack, fell on the casket and died at the funeral. So they delayed the burial and then they buried them together at the same time. And I know I've said this before, like in another video, where I have a sister and her husband have been together since they were like 15 and 18 or something. And they're now in their 60s and like they cannot be apart. They would totally not be good for trucking for trucking. Like there's no way he could have gone on the road. He would have had to take her with him because they just can't be apart. Do keto. Oh, I'm so done with keto. I did those peeing on the sticks back in the 90s. Everybody thinks keto's new, you know, and and I don't cook. That's another issue. I don't cook. I didn't cook on the truck. My mother is the only Italian woman in the entire planet that doesn't cook. So I didn't learn how to cook, you know. I have to like really walk. Jen, no, I'm not in Springfield. I'm in Yakima, Washington, waiting on my load. The customer was closed for the 4th of July weekend. So I'm going to go pick up in the morning and then hopefully I'll be in Springfield. Um, I was supposed to go to Salt Lake City, but it looks like because of this delay, I'd rather go into Springfield so I could get more miles for this week. my APUs broke, and it was just so hot in the truck that my trainee was like, "I'm melting, I'm melting," and I was like, "Hey, wait a minute, I'm the witch on the truck. You don't get to melt. I'm the witch." But I'm assuming that I'm not that bad of a trainer though, because I stood in one of the parking spaces and I said, "Run me over. This is your chance." And she was afraid to. And I was like, if my trainer would have done that, I would have been like this. Woot, 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 woot. I would have been the best backer in all of trucking history. I didn't like my trainer at all. The one trainer. I had a couple trainers, but the one trainer really I didn't like. So the dad is still above ground. All three of his parents, my mother and her parents, coffins are sealed and buried years ago. I lost 42 pounds on my own diet and another 10 when I went vegan. I went from 320 to 182. That's amazing. That's awesome. Um, I have lost 80 pounds 3 times in my life. I think 3 times. And my body likes two different sizes. It likes the size that I'm at now, and then like the size that I get when I'm smaller, but that 80-pound separation. The problem is that I have such a slow metabolism that to keep it that way and maintain that size 10, size 8 size, I have to like really exercise so much that it just becomes like, it just feels like exercising is my life and it's not worth it. And I have so much muscle mass um, that when I lose too much weight, I start to look like sunken in and depleted and everything. Animal mother, hey, from southern New Jersey. Wait a minute. Where in southern New Jersey? Because you know that's where I live, right? um, you have a George Foreman grill on our truck. Works great. Han says, Kearsey's my favorite YouTube channel. She donates money. Don't see no one else doing that. Well, you know what? Everybody's in different positions. Keep in mind, I'm not married. I don't have any kids. My first 2 years in trucking as a company driver, I paid off $70,000 in debt. So I'm completely debt free. Um, and if I see a way that I can help people, the YouTube channel to me, it's just really extra money. So and it's not a lot. I'm not trying to say that I'm making so much money, but anything that I can give, I'm gonna give. Um, I just think the world works better that way. The world's a much better place. Nadia, my thing with keto is the same that happened with the Atkins diet. When people use they when they do diets wrong, things happen. And I know people, everybody I know that was on the Atkins diet wound up having gallbladder problems, needing their gallbladder removed, or having some kind of blockage in their bile duct. So you have to be sure that you're truly following one of those diets the way that it should be followed. I wanted to choke my trainer in his sleep. Well, I'm so glad you're not on my truck. People want to strangle me anyway just because I can't shut up, and I got that giggle that like people. I have my hair is all flat and my makeup's not on, and I'll be walking through the terminal and somebody will say, "Aren't you Kearsey?" No, and they're like, "Yeah, I know your giggle," and they'll come from like around the side of the building and everything because my giggle echoes. But I guess it's better to be known for a giggle than being a witch, but I guess I'm known for being a bitch too. I don't know. If you lift weights, it kicks in fat burning and lasts all day. Yeah, animal mother, you know me. Okay, I know you. You know me too? uh, yes, what I what I was doing when I was thinner was I had to walk the treadmill for an hour. lift some weights for an hour, and then swim in the pool for an hour like 4 times a week. If I didn't do that, I start gaining weight. Oh, okay. Hey, George, how you doing? uh, there's my friend George. He's I met him at the truck stop. So that's really cool to see that you're still on here with me. I appreciate that. Hi, fishing trucker. How you doing? I went from diabetic to non-diabetic. That is really awesome. I know a lot of people that have done that. People who get the surgery wind up telling me the same thing. Some of the problem with the surgery, which I thought of, but let's face it, I'm a baby. I'm not doing that. Um, like I've seen some of those people that got excited that they could eat bad stuff and they start eating it and eating it. So even though their diabetes went away, it came back. So that's not cool. Nadia said, yeah, I paid off $70,000 in debt in 2 years. That's excellent. Thank you. I appreciate that. Do I own a home? No, I don't. I bought a home when I was 22 years old when I was married. And before I came to Prime, it was destroyed in a hurricane. So my brother still owns the property and is planning on rebuilding it, but no, I don't own it anymore. Yep, Atkins is short term. Know several that had gallbladder problems removed. Yep. Um, I think people do things the wrong way. And, people will say to me, oh, you got to do the apple cider vinegar. Yeah, they were doing that in like National Enquirer, like back in the 80s. A lot of these things that people say, oh, you got to do, they're not original. You just really, the thing that works best is a well balanced diet because we need a little bit of everything despite what people say. But also, I think people's bodies work differently. If I don't have carbs, because of my muscle mass, I really feel like I'm run down. So, and get this, on one Nutrisystem I did for a while, I lost a lot of weight on Nutrisystem and I kept it off for years. Um, but they don't have sodium in their products because a lot of their products are made for people with high blood pressure and diabetes. So I wound up craving pretzels. It was ridiculous. And I got cramps in my legs. And when I went to my doctor and got tested, he told me that I was the first person he's ever seen that had low sodium. And he told me, you're craving the pretzels because you want the salt. So go eat some pretzels. I was like, oh, okay. Who would have thought? Um, if you can survive a third floor apartment without air conditioning in triple degree weather, hats off to you. Second summer to this. I swear it's a lot cooler. Should giggle in the Carthage caves. I have. For those of you who don't know, in Missouri, in Carthage, and in Springfield, Missouri, we have these underground caves where we go in and we get the refrigerated product. So, yes, it's like imagine Batman's cave. Like it's spooky going down there when you're first down there. I was scared. I was terrified. I didn't want to back in. And of course, I'm in the door, and here comes a trucker from another mega carrier, comes flying around, hits the parked employee cars across from me, backs up into the dock and hits my trailer, and then pulls forward and hits another car. And then we all wonder why people make fun of mega carriers. That's why. So, George, what are you doing? What are you doing now? Like, are you still driving the cab or what are you doing? You were doing weren't you doing the car hauling? The hot shot? I look at food and lose weight. Wow, I wish. I went off insulin after 15 years, 20 plus years diabetic. Yeah, Mark went through some issues with his diabetes when it came to trucking and trying to get recertified and all that. So that's a really that's something that you have to really be aware of when you're coming into trucking, is what your physical needs are going to be, and make sure that you get them all taken care of. Hensley's 2 Truck says, "You're a hoot. I feel more positive just watching this." You know, that comes across really sarcastic. I hope you're not like trolling me and making fun of me. And if you are, guess what I have to say? Hoot hoot. I want to hear that echo. It's how you burn what you eat. Yeah, yeah. California, here I come. Yeah, that's how I feel. I can, people keep telling me they love going west, and I don't really like it. I don't really like it. It just seems like every load I get that's coming out of California or something, I just wind up like today. I'm sitting here all weekend, and it just sucks. And that's one of the things that kind of dissuades me from teaming. Like my trainee and I, we were in downtown LA, and it was just disgusting. Have any of you been to the Blue Beacon in downtown LA? There are old broken down RVs parked up and down the street with homeless people with trash that's like taller than I am. And it's like, ew. I was raised to think that California was like the best place in the world to be, and now it's disgusting. I mow untamed acreage for an excuse to get outside. Wow. If somebody wants an excuse to get outside, they can like go clean my truck. Open up the doors of my truck and scrub my floor. I live in California and I'm trying to move to Missouri. This state sucks. I'm sorry. I said that in one of my videos that I hate California, and somebody was like, "Well, I live here." And I was like, "Well, I'm sorry. I hope you move. Please do, for your own sanity." Where am I now? Everyone needs Donner under their belt. Well, you know what? My trainee got to drive across Wyoming. She got to drive across Vail. She drove across Cabbage. She didn't do Donner or Grapevine, but I'm sure we'll get there because I think it's really good experience. I'm in Washington. California's horrible. Ever delivered near the Coliseum or Home Depot in Oakland? No, I haven't. And I'm glad. I watched a documentary about homelessness in LA. It was really sad. Yeah, I think it's sad too, but what scares me even more is that some of those people actually want to be homeless. They think it's easier to be homeless than to get a job. And that really shows the direction of our country and our society where we've gone. And I really blame the people like the parents of America. I think this started with the "You're getting a timeout and going into the naughty corner, and here is your trophy for your participation because everybody needs to be equal." That's a bunch of crap. I'm sorry, life is hard. Now we have a whole generation of people who think that life is supposed to be easy and they don't want to have to work. Good night, Danny. Mwah, thank you so much. I'm glad you came by. Tire go flat? Nope. Driving along the other. I did get pulled over by a cop in Washington. I should have gotten his number. He was nice and sweet. I did Donner at night in a full automatic, no ability to downshift. I don't know any automatics that don't allow you to downshift. So is it possible that you just don't know? Avoid Seattle. I was just up in Seattle and I delivered over near Sumner at the Costco, which was awesome. I was in and out, and we went right back to that TA, and it was pretty cool. The TA is good. Bet you it was a Swift. Who is in which Washington? Okay. Was told we should have taken this other route. CR England. Use Jake's. My parents beat the snot out of us. My mother didn't even have to beat us. She just threatened it. Like she would count to three. And that was something I was having a conversation with my mother about the riots. And I was saying, my sister has kids that are in their 30s. But, the way our cell phone plans are and everything, she still has them on the cell phone plan. So if my nephews were down in that riot, my sister would be calling them up and telling them, "You get your butt back home, or I'll shut your phone off." you know. And like with my mom, I know my mom would have been counting, and she would have called me up and said, "You got the three to get your butt back in your car." And even though I know my mother would never hit me, it was just the whole respect and intimidation factor. And the kids today, they just don't respect their parents, they don't respect teachers, they don't respect law enforcement, and we did it. And I sort of blame the women of America, the same ones that want to say, "Oh, men are so horrible because, they left us. We're single mothers, and we have to work alone because the fathers just leave and don't even pay for anything, and I had to do it all on my own." And I'm like, "Okay, well then guess what? Who raised the cops that you're claiming are killing and beating all these people? You did. Who raised the criminals that are getting beat up and killed by the cops? You did. So you can't sit here and take the glory of raising the generation of kids and then at the same time bash the people that are now grown that you raised." It's like Me Too. "Oh, we're going to go attack the men for rape culture." Well, you women have been complaining for 50 years that you were doing all this on their own because men suck. So, who created rape culture if it really does exist? You did, the women of America. So, I don't want to hear it. And no, I'm not a victim, so I'm not going to play into your little game. I'm sorry. And I am proof that if you don't want kids, you don't have to have them. I just turned 46 years old. I don't have any kids because I can read. I can read the box and the pills and so I guess I just went on a tangent. I'm sorry. Northern California is beautiful. The rest can fall into the ocean. Well, you know what? The first time I drove through Atlanta, my trainer asked me, "What do I think about Georgia?" And I said, "I think Obama should just nuke it off the map." And he thought it was so hysterical. He like choked on his coffee. Liberal victimhood. They are all victims and are incapable of doing anything for themselves. Absolutely. I just filmed a video that I didn't post yet where I was talking about these people want to complain about everything, and they want to complain about their neighborhood isn't getting enough money and they're not getting enough money. Well, now that we're in COVID, why not take the time when you're home to go into your neighborhood, clean up the needles, clean up the streets, paint over the graffiti. Local businesses, don't tell me that they can't go in and fix the schools and the plumbing and the water fountains and things like that. Go to old people's houses and rebuild the houses and or something. I mean, do something to be able to improve our society and improve your community, and people constantly ask me on this channel where I fall politically, and no matter what I say, I'm going to be wrong, because the truth of the matter is I am socially liberal but fiscally conservative. I don't care if you want a sex change. I just don't think I should have to pay for it. If you're not willing to pay for my liposuction and tummy tuck, then no, don't expect me to pay for your genitals to get chopped off. Okay? I don't care if you're gay, if you're straight, if you're bi. I don't care if you're black or white. And, this is going to sound really funny, but like somebody asked me about a friend of mine who is a little bit darker complexion. And he asked me, he's like, "What is he? Is he black? Is he Hispanic?" I was like, "I don't know." And he's like, "Well, what do you mean?" I was like, "To be honest with you, I never cared to ask." And I don't really think that you know, that's appropriate anyway. Who cares what he is? It doesn't make sense to me. Charles says that his auto shift does just fine downshifting. So does mine. Michelle says, I totally agree with your thoughts on participation trophies and handouts. It's scary thinking the younger generation will be running this country when we get old. The sad thing is that they're running it now because the loudmouths are getting all of the attention. And I think that's another problem that we have in this country. Nobody realizes that the media is really commentary and opinion now. We don't have an unbiased media like we used to. And in part, that's because 24-hour news cycles, they need to keep talking. Well, if there's one thing that happens, you have to keep talking about that one thing that happened until something else happens. And people just listen to sound bites. They don't go back and explore. They don't go back and verify what they're hearing. You know, if you when it comes to police brutality, and I know I'm going to get reamed out for this one, but on mappingpoliceviolence.com, I believe it's a Black Lives Matter website. If you look at the numbers of blacks who were killed by police who were unarmed, the numbers have actually gone down. And the highest was at Obama. That's not my numbers. That's not Fox numbers. That's not CNN numbers. That's Black Lives Matter numbers. But you have to kind of dig through the website to find it. Okay. It says that like 1,098 people died at the hand of police last year. And in a smaller section, it says 24% of those were black. But it also says 82% of people that were killed by police had weapons. If you go back and you look, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, it was like 28 black people who were unarmed were killed by police last year. Not 7,000, not 500, 28. And they consider unarmed to even have a toy gun or a pellet gun, a BB gun, or something in their hand that the police may have thought was a weapon. Because cops are dealing in dark situations. They may not be able to see if you have a gun. They see you have something shiny in your hand. And I'm not saying that they should be killing people. I'm saying that the media blows things up so much and people they believe it and they don't go back and investigate it themselves. Hans says, CR England, everybody leaves after 90 days. I don't know if that's true. Tina says mountains still scare me, but everyone has different techniques to go down them. I can go up and down hills, but West Virginia's fog, night, and mountains scare my butt off. The key to that is just go slow, Tina. Put your hazards on and go at a slow speed that's safe for you. And depending on your weight and the percentage of the grade, a lot of these mountaintops will tell you, especially Mont Eagle and Cabbage, will tell you for this weight. Cabbage just told us go 18 miles per hour down the hill, and it's 6% grade and it's 6 miles. So, you just don't go the speed that you feel comfortable at, and the heck with anybody behind you. As far as fog, I actually would rather drive fog than try to get off in it because when you go into the rest areas, first off, you can't see, and second off, people park without putting their markers on, so you can't even see that they're parked in front of you. And they'll go into the rest area and not even be parked in a parking spot, so you don't even have any guidance to be able to figure it out. There's going to be Social Security for their children if they don't work. Yeah, the buttons were there, but they didn't do anything. Trainer said feature was not there. That's really weird. Sorry, Mark, that's weird. I know that the manual, you can't put it in manual in a lot of the prime trucks. I have a manual in my truck, but I can downshift and upshift. We can even downshift and upshift in our simulators, which was really funny because when I see people in the simulator class, none of them are downshifting, but I do. Lose weight equals stop parking next to restaurants and walk. Yes, this is true. Mom always said, want me to call your father? Hell, I was more scared when Dad said, "Want me to call your mother?" Guess what? I love my sister and her husband so much, but she would do the same thing. She'd say, "I'm going, I'm going to tell your father." But what was really funny was, and it's South Philly Italian family, somebody asked my brother-in-law, you know, don't don't you rear your kids, and he's like, nope, I never had that job. That's my wife's job. If I try to get involved with that, she's going to come after me. So I'd rather, you know, let them deal with it. I'll take care of it after she tells me what to do. Hmm. Older Volvo, don't know. Oh, didn't know. Didn't allow much use of the Jake either. Go 60 when it hits 70, brake to 60 and repeat. Wow, okay. What company was that? Was that Dutch made? Because that's where you were, right? Scrolling through Facebook and saw where a buddy of mine found a squirrel hanging from a forked stick. He was promptly rescued from a rough situation and made full recovery. Yeah, that's weird. 46. Oh my God, 4 years to antique status. You know what, Charles? You just offended me. Seriously, how dare you say that? You should have said 46. What do you mean? You don't look 46 at all. Hans, good night. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Guys, all the super chat money is getting donated to Meals on Wheels. Oh, yeah, I'm so far behind on these comments. Sorry. Because I went on that tangent about kids not being disciplined. I was running over road, running cranes and equipment cross country for Nesco. Oh, I'm now at New Jersey dot Cherry Hill. Oh, TA in North Bend sucks. Yep. Ew, really? Snot and drinks, come on. Rick says people expect the government to pay for everything. People forget the government gets its money from taxes. That is the absolute truth. Ugh. Yeah, Captain Banana lives in Cherry Hill. Liberals can't do anything but be victims. Every one of their arguments is an excuse on why they failed at life. Trike Rider, how you doing? I was gonna call you. Somebody told me about one of your videos and wanted me to call you, and I just haven't had time. So call me later if you're up. Mm. Charles says I drive a truck and I want a freaking trophy for it. Just blow up the San Andreas Fault. Boom. Let's build a wall around California. Oh my gosh, Trump 2020. Wow. This is turning into a political video that I wasn't expecting. Well, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Watch, they'll take the video down. They'll just demonetize my whole channel because they'll see too much you know, anti-liberal. But my thing is I like political debates, but not necessarily the same way other people like them. I see that I have friends on the left that when they argue, they're really trying to convince me. They're trying to change my mind and intimidate me into believing they're right. They're not open at all. And me personally, if you came at me with an argument that is logical and makes sense, I would sit there and think about it, go back and research it, and then come back to you and explain why I think that was a good idea or why I think it was a bad idea. And I just know so many people that just listen to talking points and they have no idea what they're talking about. I have a friend that flipped out because, oh, Kavanaugh said that, you can't charge a sitting president. Well, that's the law. You have to impeach him, you have to kick him out of office, and then you charge him, but all people hear is what they want to hear. I used to watch the news every night. Forget it now. You know what, John? It's like, um, it's the point where everything is so, uh, it's depressing. It's all negative, and it just sucks. Charles says, use your jakes in lower gear. You won't even need brakes if you're doing it correctly. That's absolutely true. I just had my trainee go down Cabbage, the 6% grade, 6 miles. She went down in the lower gear, never touched her brakes. And when she got to the bottom, she says, I can't believe that. Why does everybody complain? Why does everybody make a big deal about it? And I'm like, because they don't do it right. And you will see people come flying down, pass you, jump in front of you, and then they ride their brakes down the whole time, and you can smell their brakes burning. Like, those are people I get far away from. I slow down even more so they can be far away from me because they're going to be on fire by the time we get down the mountain. Matt says I drove through a whiteout blizzard from Tyler exit all the way to I-90 Idaho exit 5. As soon as I got off the freeway, I was out of the run of the storm. I was 14 and being taught by my mom. Yeah, well, my first winter, I drove through a lot of blizzards, and one of them was, I can't remember, was it Michelle or Tina that just said that she was, going through West Virginia hills and they were scary. I think it was Michelle. Um, yeah, that was one of my first blizzards. was was the West Virginia 7% grade, and I was at the top, and I was terrified, and I was just like, nope, I'm parking. Oh well. I didn't realize it was at the top of the mountain because I was going so slow that my RPMs never changed to let me see that I was going uphill. Mark says that truck's no longer on this road. That's good. Oh, it was at Dutchmate. I was right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, so Charles, you're older than me, and you're picking on me for my age? That was one of the reasons why my co-driver's no longer on my truck. He called me grandma. Believe that? It is ironic that Chop Chaz built a wall to keep people out to protect the people in Chop Chaz. Yeah. And it's ironic that they want to be separate, but yet they're using the power that other people are paying for. It's ironic that they wanted to create something, but yet the people and residents who live there don't want them there. It's ridiculous. Kearsey 2020 with that giggle could trade. trade. That's right. Woohoo! I'm going to be president one day. I don't know. See, you know what? People have actually asked me to go into Prime and be a fleet manager, and I was like, I'd be firing everybody because I'd be like, I know your tricks. You're not going to screw me over. You're not going to manipulate me. This Jersey girl's not taking it. You can't argue with leftists, communists, socialists. They've killed more people than any other group in history. John, you're absolutely right. And I found this is something that's crazy. On my Twitter account, I had a repeat, an automatic thing that just retweets, just to keep, your account updated and things. And it just randomly grabs things. That's why when people say, "Oh, this person retweeted something," it's probably a bot that does it. It's not like somebody really meant to do it half the time. And I did notice that something that was kind of conservative got retweeted on my account from this bot, and the leftist liberal couldn't come at me with a defense of it. What they did was they then researched my books that I have published and came at me saying, "Oh, well, if you were a better author, if your rating was any good, you'd have a real publisher or you'd be on the New York Times bestseller list or whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, really? You can't even come up with a good argument for your ideas, and your positions because you don't have them. You're taking the sound bites and positions of other people and then promoting them as your own. You can't even come up with a defense. So then you go on the attack, but you're supposed to be the woke, open-minded people, the tolerant people. And what's really crazy, I was raised in, in the suburbs of Philadelphia where it's a very blue area. My mother is a diehard, staunch Democrat that, they've had a Democratic mayor since way before I was born. And I really was believing all that. But the crazy thing is, they pushed me further and further to the middle, and they don't even realize it. That's why I got off of Facebook because I couldn't stand the political stupidness of people. And I have a degree in history and poli sci. So when people come at me and they don't know what they're talking about, it ticks me off. Most people don't know that it was the Democrats that tried to stall and the Democrats that filibustered the Civil Rights Act. How many people know this? Seriously, is there anybody in the room? There are two well-known Democrat senators that filibustered the Civil Rights Act. Does anybody name them? One was Al Gore Sr., our vice president's father, Democrat. The other one was Senator Byrd, and he's the one that, he was a KKK member and just died right before Trump got elected, and Bill Clinton gave his eulogy. Really? So a guy who was in the KKK, who filibustered the Civil Rights Act, I don't care that it was 50 years later. If you want to sit here and rip down statues from 150 years ago, then it matters today. It matters that that guy was a KKK member 50 years ago. It matters that George Wallace, the governor of Alabama, was Alabama, right? He was in power from 1960 to 87, and he ran under segregation now and always forever. But yet he was the one that 80% of the blacks voted for. That makes no sense to me. Just makes no sense to me. Charles is still talking about downgrades. It sucks when your trailer gets down the grade before you do. I am not joining the Centennial Club. I'm going to be 32 years old for the rest of my life. Bye, Mark. Mwah, thank you. I know about the Dixiecrats, Beavis and Butthead. They also created the KKK. Yes. And it's funny because people talk about this big switch in policies because it was the Republicans that, Lincoln freed the slaves, Emancipation Proclamation, and they'll say, oh, well, there was a switch. Well, when was the switch? I want to know, and not one liberal friend of mine can tell me when this switch took place. Because if you look at Woodrow Wilson, he reignited the KKK by playing his friend's movie, Griffith's movie, Birth of a Nation. At the end of the movie, KKK comes and saves the day because blacks are running rampant, raping white women. Okay. So after that, the KKK had been almost dead. They went to the top of Stone Mountain, Georgia, lit up their crosses, and reignited the KKK. So all of a sudden, you have millions of people. You can see this on YouTube. Millions of KKK members marched on Washington. And, that was a Democrat president that did that. They talk about David Duke and white supremacists. David Duke was a KKK member. I think he's a registered Republican now, but when he ran for president of the United States and he was a state senator in Louisiana, he was a Democrat. So if it's the Republicans that are so racist and not the Democrats, why do you have so many KKK members in the Democratic Party? Why do you have so many people that are for segregation in the Democratic Party? And it just amazes me. It really amazes me. People don't realize that now they're because they can't force segregation like they used to, now they are getting people to self-segregate. All of these labels, when you create these institutions, even black trucker Facebook groups, or, women's colleges, or, you know, anything that you have that puts a label on something, it's separating, it's not joining, it's not diversification where you're just assimilating. It's diversification, meaning not the same. Well, I'm sorry, I don't play into that. As far as I'm concerned, everybody's the same. And if you don't like it, you're the bigot. I am so going to get taken off of YouTube. Biden's voting record on segregation. Captain Banana says, I learned something new tonight. What did you learn? That I can go on a rant for an hour about about politics? He segregated the military. Well, there is like so much. Okay, even Margaret Sanger. This is something that liberal women will throw out there. Hillary Clinton did a speech saying that Margaret Sanger was her hero, and the argument for abortion is, well, we don't know when human life begins. And I'm not a Bible thumper. I'm not a real religious person. I'm not some crazy like right wing Christian that I just, like I said, if I hear something, I have to go back and find it from the source. I'm not going to go look to a commentator. I want to look at the source. So I listened to an audiobook written by Margaret Sanger. And I think that if people actually listen to what she said in her own book, they would feel differently. And do you guys even know Margaret Sanger? She's the one that created she's the one that created Planned Parenthood. She gave a speech to the women of the KKK and said that she was willing to talk to any organization that was similar to them. But yet I'm supposed to think that she's wonderful. I'm supposed to think she's good. She was trying to kill off black babies. That's what she was doing. When you look at her eugenics, you know, it's you know, it's not. So I was listening to her book, and she's talking about the egg and reproduction and the sperm joining the egg and everything. And there is one phrase that she used in this book that totally destroys the pro-choice movement. And what she said was, sperm is the giver of life. Okay, think about that. If sperm's the giver of life, then life starts at fertilization. Therefore, their whole argument for abortion is just abolished because they claim, oh, well, it's okay at a certain point. And now Charles is saying it's at conception. Whole late term abortion thing horrifies me. Late term abortion thing horrifies me too. They're getting so crazy that that they're talking about post-term abortions. Post-term, meaning you give birth and then get to decide if you want to kill your kid. Captain America, Captain Banana, America, Captain America. Uh, yeah, it was the Democrats in favor of segregation. It was a Republican Congress that wound up passing that. Even though it was Johnson that signed the bill, it was the Republicans that actually passed the Civil Rights Act. You can go back and look all this up. I'm not making it up. But it's amazing to go back and look at stuff. You can find George Wallace's speech is online on YouTube where he says segregation now, always, and forever. He's running as a Democrat governor. He got 80 something percent of the black vote. That makes no sense to me. So then I'm like, well, who do these people want to blame? Abortion for the elderly? Well, yeah, abortion for the elderly, that's called assisted suicide, so we already have it. We already have it. YouTube has a general disinterest and disrespect of God and eternal peace. Well, yeah, because, it's not titillating. People want controversy, that's what sells. You know, I just watched a woman on YouTube that was screaming and yelling and screaming that, black white people are lucky that black people only want equality and not revenge. Really? Revenge for what? Because my family wasn't here. I can trace my ancestry. My family didn't have slaves. My family was from Italy and from Germany. They came over here in the 1900s. Now, you want to claim something else, then, I'm not saying my family didn't do something in Germany, but you ain't blaming me for blacks and all that. And to sit here and say equality, I think that people truly believe that if you're white, you grew up rich. I didn't have a new house. I had a broken down, crappy house that I grew up in as a kid. I lived in a poor neighborhood. We didn't have, and something that really gets me, I know this video is coming down. People are gonna like really like put this, complain about this, but like blacks complain about driving while black, DWB. I would get pulled over DWM driving with Mustang. 4 times in 1 week. 4 times in 1 week, I got pulled over for driving my Mustang. You know what I did? Instead of screaming and yelling and fighting with cops like a lot of my black friends do, I went and bought them coffee at the convenience store before I entered the town. And then when the guy pulled me over, I handed him the coffee and said, "Here you go, officer. I figure we might as well get to know each other since you're pulling me over 4 times a week." And he was like, "Excuse me?" I was like, "I didn't know if you like cream or sugar, but hi, I'm Kirsten. I'm divorced. I don't have any kids. I'm a postal worker. Tell me about yourself." you know? And that's just me. That's how I deal with people. I don't get all hot headed and start screaming and yelling because it doesn't get you anywhere. And it's interesting to note, I have a black friend who read one of my books. In my original draft of my book, I had this black father who lost a child. I had him commit suicide, and my black female friend turned around and said to me, "Black people don't commit suicide. We kill other people when we get angry." And depression is anger turned inward. So white people get mad at themselves basically, and they're unhappy with their lives and their inability to change their life, so they kill themselves. Whereas black people, when they get angry with their lives, they blame other people and they kill other people. And that's not something I made up. That's a real statistic. That's a real psychological philosophy. I had no idea the suicide rate was so high for whites and so low for blacks. Planned Parenthood was created by Margaret Sanger to abort black babies. To this day, black women get abortions 4-to-1 over white women. Yes, this is true. And guess what else? I had two black friends that didn't believe me when I explained that I felt like that. So we went into an abortion clinic, and the two of them went ahead of me, and we did this for two different things. First, we did it to schedule abortions. None of us were pregnant. We were just, doing it. And the next time we scheduled for just a regular, like, annual exam. The interesting thing was that when they said they wanted an abortion, they only had to pay $50 as a copay, and I was going to have to pay 300. And when we went in, we all said that we had no jobs, we all said we had no insurance, and we had no money. They told us it was on a sliding scale, and the two black women were told it was $20 for the exam, and I was told it was 100. And I was like, so Planned Parenthood is making it more difficult for white women to get care and get exams. They're making it more difficult for white women to get abortions than for black women. So when you talk about equality, then you have to turn around and say, well, I want to be just as equal as the white woman. I want to pay the same amount. you know, Nancy Pelosi's father dedicated 2 Confederate monuments during his time as mayor of Baltimore, yet she remained silent about it. That's interesting. Didn't know that. Thank you. I'm going to go look that up. No one alive today alone slaves was a slave. That's absolutely true. Some say Leasops are slaves. uh, I don't know. Tuki, I'm not a slave. Honest to God. Like, my fleet manager knows that I run my truck. It doesn't matter. I'm a company driver. He flat out admits it. He actually told me that I'm really good at allowing him to believe that he runs the truck, but I do what I want. you know. Conservatives don't dox people. Conservatives don't riot instead of protest. You know what conservatives do? They sue. That was something that I thought was funny about the school out in California, Berkeley. Berkeley, when the kids all start breaking things and they didn't want Milo there and they didn't want Ben Shapiro there, the young conservative group sued. All the liberal kids are, setting the school on fire and throwing, benches through the glass windows and everything. It's just crazy when you see this kind of stuff going on. It's just amazing, you know. And something else I think that people forget about, think of all the things that has gone on. Like when when Janet Reno died during the Trump uh, election, and I was like, so the Democrats, Bill Clinton, Janet Reno, they killed all those kids in Waco. So you forget that. You forget that Ruby Ridge, some of the same officers, that were in Ruby Ridge were in Waco. They shot a woman and killed her while she was holding her baby. They shot a little teenage kid. I don't remember how old he was. It was like 13 or 14 or something. They went into the mountains to go get those people. Captain Banana will remember this. Black Wilson Good in Philadelphia dropped a bomb. On a house. They called it the Move Siege. That were Black Americans, Ramona Africa. They were related. Some people say that was related to the Mumia police killer, the convicted police killer that was supposed to be up for death. Am I still teen driving? Well, earlier in this video, I said that I got rid of my co-driver. We lasted 3 months, and then I took a week vacation. I was in the terminal for a couple weeks, and now I have a trainee. So I'm back to team training. I'm not sure how long I'm going to do that. I might just finish her out and then go solo through the winter time. John, yeah, what they've seen on TV or Netflix. Netflix movie on Waco is crazy. How are the Democrats going to take the guns without the cops? Well, it makes me funny. That's another irony is that, all these people are rioting, and then as soon as something happens, they're calling the cops. Well, no. My mother got mad at me because I was like, I think that they should just shoot them. And she was like, what? I was like, there are two things that you can do to these people. Number one, turn off all their cell phones. Turn off their data on their cell phones. As soon as these kids can't sit here and YouTube their rioting and all that, they will freak out and go running looking for their safe space corner. They will, okay? But turn off their cell phones, or number two, start shooting. They're already destroying the buildings anyway, so just shoot up in the air at the top of the buildings. They'll start running. The problem is that none of these kids think that there are any repercussions for what they do. They don't have fear of authority anymore. We have no morals anymore. I mean, I it's such a paradox in our society. We're supposed to be offended by sexual harassment and Me Too, but yet we let our kids rape and beat up, hookers on Grand Theft Auto. We have a whole generation that thinks that they are in a literal video game right now. You know, if you look at the riot videos on YouTube of Philadelphia, it's really kind of scary. These kids broke into a T-Mobile store, ran out. I got an iPhone. I got an iPhone. Well, you idiot. You just put your face on national television, number one. And number two, even if you can activate that phone, they're going to track you. Somebody else just smashed through a window and got up at a piano store and start playing the piano. I was impressed that he knew how to play the piano, to be honest with you, because that's discipline. But somebody that breaks a window to go in, these aren't people that are going in robbing food. Now, I can understand with the pandemic and everybody being out of work, if you were breaking in and stealing food, or like during Hurricane Katrina, that sort of thing, you're looting for food, totally different. But going in and stealing an iPhone you can't even use, that's just ridiculous. Hi, Charles. Mwah, good night, sweetie. I appreciate it. Tuki says I have the original Waco documentary that was recalled after the investigations. Ooh, that'd be interesting. And somebody told me that they thought that Sonny Bono, was killed. It wasn't a real accident. They had his autopsy reports and everything from his skiing accident, and they said that they think he was actually killed because he wanted to investigate Waco further than what they did. Italy and Germany colonized all of Africa, so you're not off the hook. Why is it so hard to accept the truth when you speak more? Your racism is popping out too. I don't have racism. If you're trying to say I'm racist, no, I'm not. Matter of fact, I'm so not racist and not bigoted. My best friends are a Jew, a white gay guy, a black woman, a Hispanic man, and a Muslim. I got everybody covered. Yeah. Um, Kearsey is the smartest woman I've ever listened to. Maybe the first one I've ever listened to. Hey, I'm the first woman you've ever listened to. I appreciate that. But I try to listen to all different people. I would love for people to point out to me, hey, this is something, this is why I think this way, because maybe it would change my mind. I like going back and researching things and trying to learn rather than just believing what people have to say, you know. No, Captain Banana, Mumia was related in that respect because supposedly they went into that house for a witness that was involved in his case. The movement was a Back to Africa movement, and they blasted loud music in Philly all day and night. Wilson Good has the police chopper drop the bomb. Yeah, but it really had to do with there was a witness in there, and I'm pretty sure the witness died in that thing, in that bombing. Tina says, I grew up in Waco and I was in high school when it went down. I just watched a Netflix movie and actually felt it was very accurate. That's interesting. Yeah, Wilson Good's bomb in Philly destroyed like 3 city blocks. Two different people died skiing the trees during the same time frame. The Clintons killed hundreds. One more wouldn't surprise me. Well, you know, it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's kind of fun to look into quote unquote conspiracy theories. But what's really scary is there is a book called None Dare Call It Conspiracy. It was written in 1968 by a guy named Gary Allen. And one of my mother's friends, who was very political, gave it to me when I was like 10 years old. And people think that Alex Jones is crazy, and I'm not saying he doesn't go out there over the top. He does, but a lot of his rhetoric was from this book that was written in the 60s. But when you start reading the book, it prophesizes what's going on now. And that's scary. Like it actually discusses NAFTA and the European Union and forming a North American Union. Um, so there's things in that book that are really scary, and and why somebody would give it to a 10-year-old, I have no idea, but it is available on Audibles on as an audiobook. Kids today need the shit beat out of them, like I used to get back in the day. In today's world, parents can't make them behave like our parents did. Well, yeah, because now you know what? Yeah, James is saying because they'll put us in jail for it too. Well, it's not even just that they'll put it in jail for us. It's that the kids wind up telling their own parents, "Well, guess what? I'm gonna call DIFUS on you. I'm gonna call social services." Because guess what? If my kid said that to me, I'd say, "Go ahead, call social services. Let them take you away. Go ahead." See, that's why I can't have kids because I'd be in jail. I'd be in jail for somebody touching them or hitting them or something. I'd be in jail for lots of things. I'm so glad I didn't have kids, you know. But it, I don't know. My brother went to a Black Lives Matter march, and he had a really good, expensive camera that he was doing a live feed on YouTube. And the protesters were getting so violent that one really nice guy came up to my brother and said, "Yo, dude, you got to get out of here." He's like, "They're coming up there. They're coming after white people, and anybody with a camera that's white, they're throwing water and liquids on your cameras, and then they're beating the people up after they know the camera's destroyed." So my brother was like, "Thank you," and he got out. The assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King was considered a conspiracy until proven true in court. Um, and I find that race baiters just make things worse. Like, people want to sit here and make it seem like it's systemic racism is something that's really going on. Where I came from, growing up in the 80s and 90s through school, um, you know, the word boy was a good thing. It was boys in the hood, boys to men, fat boys. If you were my boy, you were my friend. Uh, I don't even think I ever heard the word boy as a derogatory word until I was an adult, really. You know, um, we we were pretty assimilated, so I don't understand where all this hate and everything is coming from, other than black people are passing down the hate as well. And I I'm not saying that it's not something that they shouldn't have. Like, I can understand how they feel entitled to it, but at the same time I think it's false and unnecessary. Like, I've had friends, black friends, that said to me something like, "Oh, well, if I got caught doing that, I'd get hung. Oh, they'd slam me in jail. They'd give me the death penalty." And I'm like, I didn't really think that. You know, I won't say who it is, but there's a woman here on YouTube that she got pulled over by DOT. She did have a violation that she could get a ticket for. The officer asked her if she had any drugs or weapons on the truck. She said she did have a knife on the truck. He asked if if he could search the truck, and she went on and on and on that he was treating her that way because she was black. No, he was treating her that way because she admitted to having a weapon on the truck. I was with my co-driver, same exact thing happened, same scenario. He asked me, "Do I have any weapons or drugs on the truck?" I told him no. He asked me if he could search the truck. I said, "Yes, my co-driver's asleep. Do you want me to wake him up?" And then it turned into, "No, that's okay." So, you know, No Hippie Trucking says, I think we need to have a real conversation seriously. I think everybody needs to have a real conversation and do it without emotions. People can become so emotional about race and religion and, you know, that sometimes the emotions take over the logic. Um, and they don't hear things. People don't want to hear something that doesn't fit into their own thinking. I don't know. I have this friend who wrote a book. I love her to death, but it was supposed to be, this book was all about the struggles of her growing up black. And it was about her, she was upset because her younger sister had a bigger bedroom than her. And they were fighting over the phone in their bedrooms. Because one sister, they each had their own phone line in their bedroom. And the one sister got punished, and the parents took the phone away. And before you know it, they're fighting over the one. And I was like, what are you talking about? You know, I didn't have my own bedroom. There were five of us kids in a 2.5 bedroom house. Like, seriously. You know, we lived in the Northeast where a lot of times in the wintertime our pipes would freeze. We wouldn't even have hot water. We'd have to boil it on the stove. My mother grew up in South Philly where we had outhouses. She didn't have plumbing in her house. So when I hear people sit here and tell me that they don't feel equal because they don't have you know, whatever it is that they want, and I'm like, well, you have $1,000 iPhone. I don't. I have a $200 piece of crap LG that I just broke and have to go replace again. you know um so I just think that people sometimes get too emotional, and emotions can take over logic. That's what I think. I think that people have to step back and try to see things from other people's sides, and people don't want to do that. People don't want to do that. You know, like I said earlier, uh, the one senator, a black senator, got up and testified in a Senate hearing that he was pulled over 7 times in 1 year. And it turned out that 4 of those times, um, 4 of those times, uh, was he got tickets for something. He did something wrong. So those were legitimate. So, you know, the other 3 times, did they just dismiss him because he give him a warning because he was a senator? I don't know. But I get pulled over 4 times in 1 week, and that doesn't matter because I'm white, you know. Nah, I don't care if I get into trouble with YouTube. I have my own thoughts, and I think everybody needs to get along. And, people are going to, no Hippie saying I'm not looking deep enough. We need to have a one on one conversation, and I welcome it. But, um, you know, call me. We'll have a one on one conversation. But I think that what happens is that no matter what a white person says in today's society, we're going to be racist bigots and we don't understand. That's what I hear. You know, and people do. They want to be victims, and I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to be one of these women. Like, I was offended that people told me that just because I was a woman, I was supposed to vote for Hillary Clinton. What's funny is those same people didn't tell me I was supposed to vote for McCain because he chose a woman as a vice president. How come those people didn't want to make history with that? You know, um, I'm not going to vote for somebody just because of their gender or race or religion. Because if you do that, then guess what? You're the racist, sexist bigot because you're eliminating anybody else. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. Hi, Marty. Thank you. But anyway, I've been on for 2 hours now, guys. So I want to thank you guys so much for all the super chats. You didn't get your cell phone until 1990? Well, when did they come out? Because I got my first one in 91 or so. It was a Metrophone bag phone that you had to, carry around. But anyway, I'm going to get off of here. It's been a long time, and I hope to see you guys out here chucking along. Bye. Thank you so much for all the super chat money because it is getting donated to Meals on Wheels. Have a great night, guys. Talk to you later.